It's the most wonderful time of the year. Here it is, Justin. It's the day we've all been waiting for. Did you get everything you asked for this year?
I did. I got many games that are scheduled to be live on TV. I'm not going to miss a championship game. I've got that, really. That's all I asked for. Yeah, I'm buzzing.
Yeah, so you wanted this year.
It's all I wanted.
You got Steve Evans coming down the chimney with his big beard on. And he said,
not what I wanted.
Here you go.
That's not what I wanted.
Here you go. The championship season's back. See you later. That's all we wanted this year, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Second Tier Preview Show, where we are going to be making our predictions for the weekend, the opening weekend of the championship season. So we've got our game of the weekend coming up very shortly. We're then going to make our banker and outsider predictions. And as I alluded to just a short moment ago, we may have a new game to round off proceedings here today. But before we get underway, a reminder about our new Patreon, which we launched on Wednesday. For just £3.50 a month, less than a pint or a coffee in this economy, you get every single show ad-free. At least 3 shows a week with no ads. You also get access to the brand new second tier Discord server, a chat room where you can talk about all things championship with us and other championship fans. A bonus extended edition of every weekend show starting this Sunday. And that's not all. If you sign up to the Patreon and answer the question we put out on Wednesday on our socials, you'll be entered into a prize draw to win a pair of home tickets for any championship club this season. We have 5 pairs to give away. The question is, which player scored the very first goal of the last championship season? Reply to the post we put on X and Instagram last Wednesday and tag a friend who you want to take with you, and you'll get entered into the draw as long as you're signed up to the Patreon as well. Sounds great, doesn't it? So get on over to patreon.com/second tier. We'll stick a link in the description of this episode as well. Make sure you sign up now. You must be over 18 to enter, and T's and C's apply. Justin, the Patreon's had a great start, hasn't it? The Discord has been popping off.
It has been popping. There's been a lot of conversation so far. Been a lot of hot takes as well. We asked for some hot takes, we got them back, and they've been great. And everyone can get involved. I think that's a perfect thing. It's a great place to come and just chat about the championship, which is what we all want to do.
Yeah, I didn't know what to expect when we first started, or how many people we would have it initially, but it's been great. We've just 24, 48 hours in, and it's been great, and it's only going to get bigger and bigger. It's only going to become more of a community for championship fans to discuss their team and see what others are thinking about their teams as well. So get involved, please do. It's going to be a great season ahead, and the best way to experience it is by getting involved in our Patreon. Right, Justin, let's have a look ahead to the weekend then, shall we? And we'll kick things off with our game of the weekend, and it sees the long-awaited return of Portsmouth to the second tier of English football as they travel to last season's defeated playoff finalists Leeds United. SBK have Leeds as the 4-11 odds-on favourites to win this one. Portsmouth are just over 7-1 to win. The draw is just over 4-1. Big game, Justin. Big game. Still feels a bit weird to me having Pompey in the Championship. They've been out of the top 2 divisions for so long that I still somewhat associate them with being a League One side. And I don't mean that in a discriminatory way. It's just I'm just still getting used to Portsmouth being back in the second tier.
It's been 12 years, hasn't it, since they came down, and again through our sort of lives as football fans, we grew up with Portsmouth being a cult team in the Premier League. Asking you a question, was there a bigger cult favourite team in the 2000s? I don't think there was for me.
Oh no, I love that team with Ryderson. David James is in goal, Sol Campbell, Linvoy Primus, the good times. But then when they got relegated from the Premier League, they were in the Championship for 2 seasons?
2 seasons,
They were very brief, weren't they? And then have been lingering around in the bottom 2 divisions for so long. So that's why I'm still getting a bit used to Portsmouth being back here.
Well, yeah, again, it's why it's so strange having them back, because they are such a well-supported football club as well. The Fratton Park's always had such a good atmosphere, and then there's always the cowbell you hear, but generally the atmosphere is booming. And then going back to their last championship season, they still had some well-known players then. Adam Webster was there, Jed Wallace was there, Joel Ward, Benjani, Tal Ben Haim, Carnu, and that's just going back to their last championship season. Obviously, those days are long gone now, and rightfully so, and thankfully so. The club's now looking up, and that's why this is very much a new era for the club.
Yeah, unfortunately, we won't get the cowbell this weekend because Portsmouth are away.
Exactly.
But we will be getting plenty of
We might still get it.
Leeds. Well, you may still get it. I don't know if they take it to the away games. I didn't think they did, but I might be wrong. We'll find out. We'll find out this weekend, won't we? I mean, it's a pretty difficult start they've been handed into Leeds United away. Leeds are the favourites to win the Championship this season with SBK. They've told us that Leeds have been by far the most popular team that people have bet on to win the Championship this season. Far more popular than any other team. And of course, in our league table predictions, we had reasons to be sceptical about them getting the job done. A lot of that centred around players leaving. However, right now, they still have Nonto, they still have Ruta, they've still got other players who have been linked with moves away. We've said that defence is undoubtedly the best in the Championship as well. So with that all being said, considering they're coming up against a team who are newly promoted, this has to be 3 points for Daniel Farke's boys, doesn't it?
I wouldn't go down the angle because of Portsmouth coming up from League One. Therefore, Leeds have to win it because I think that's what the Championship offers. It offers that unpredictability of that. Portsmouth could well go to Ellen Road and nick a 1-0 win. But I think when you talk about the need to win from a Leeds perspective, purely the need to get off to a good start, they have to be winning. If there's their ambition there to win the title or to get promoted automatically, winning games early on is so important. A slow start cost Leeds last season. It wasn't a poor start, but winning 3 of their first 9 games obviously wasn't enough. So they have to start quick. They have to start the season quick. They have to start this game quick. And they have to start winning games early if their ambitions are there to win the league, as many expect. And as well, given the pressure on Daniel Farke and the need to strengthen the team, there's an importance there to get 3 points. Which again, I'll ask you the question: even if it's game 1, bearing in mind that the pressure on Farke and the need to strengthen, will the alarm bells ring for you if they lose it, even though they've got 45 games to pick up points?
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%, mate. Are you joking? Oh, of course they will be. I mean, you've got to take into account as well, like the disappointment of last season, how flat they were in the final end of last season, with of course that disastrous collapse, and then obviously the playoffs as well, where they only turned up for 1 out of 3 games. There must be something in the back of Leeds' minds where they're saying, well, what if we do have another disappointment? Well, what if that disappointment from the end of last season hasn't been fully eradicated? So just to kind of spin the question back on you, Justin, do you think that could play a part here?
Oh, it certainly can. There always seems to be a hangover with teams coming down. Not coming down, losing the playoff final. Only 5 teams who lost the playoff final have won promotion the following season. So the omens and odds are against Leeds here. And as I say, that might play into that necessity to go out and get 3 points. That being said, I do say that uniquely they probably sit in the same position as the teams that have those 5 teams that have gone on to win promotion. Brentford and Aston Villa are 2 examples in recent years that had squads stacked with quality, and obviously Leeds fall into the same category as them. And obviously those 2 teams went on to win promotion the following season. And Leeds, as I say, because of players, the quality that they've got, Leeds will tick those boxes as well. But that flatness.
There's got to be a worry about the mentality of Leeds, hasn't there?
Well,
how mentally strong they are as a unit, considering everything that happened last season, and that's something that they've got to try and disprove this season. Any fears of that being a factor, haven't they?
Yeah, but what I was alluding to, those teams that were stacked with quality, a lot of those players were scarred from an experience of losing a playoff final. They go again, they're expensive, good players, well-paid players, and they went again the following season. So that's something that I think might happen with Leeds here. Although there will be some hangover, I don't expect it to be a significant one. And again, if you're looking at fixtures in June and you just lost a playoff final, you probably want to play a team who have just come up from League One.
Oh yeah, 100%. Of course you would, especially when it's at home. When they've still got the players that we mentioned before who have been linked with moves away but haven't gone as at the time of recording and are expected to feature this weekend, they've got to make the most of that while they can. So, keeping hold of Nonta and Ruta will be their aim in the short term, but making the most of them while they are still at the club has to be something they do. I'm particularly intrigued to see what Brendan Aronson does in this game, whether he even starts it. But he's just someone I'm so intrigued by because of, how things went last time he played for Leeds in a competitive setting. didn't do very well, has had a year away on loan, hasn't done very well there. This is his time to show why they spent £25 million on him. And I think there's a few other players who have got a point to prove with Leeds this season as well. And look, everyone will be expecting Leeds to win this game. And as we said, they are the strong favourites with the bookies, with SBK. But Portsmouth can't be underestimated here, can they, Justin? They'll be thinking this is a big occasion for us, our first time back in the second tier in 12 years. And they'll be thinking we can send out a big warning shot to the rest of the Championship that we mean business if we manage to cause an upset at Ellen Road.
Yeah, they can. I think there'll be an air of probably... what's the word I'm looking for? They're going to go into that without feeling the pressure, aren't they? Like Leeds are. There's an expectation that Leeds they need to get promoted because of financial factors, because of quality of players leaving if they don't, etc. Whereas Portsmouth, coming up from League One, they're going to a team packed full of quality to a stadium that if things don't go well, can feel pretty nervous, and that's something that can play into Portsmouth's hands. If you were to ask me if that would be the case, I don't think it will. But like you said, Portsmouth cannot be underestimated. They've got a very clever manager. And as I was saying in our season preview and league table predictions, John Mousinho has the ability to switch things up for Portsmouth. They can beat pressers. They can beat high press. They'll leave a winger high up the pitch and they will switch the ball quickly. And that turnover can really hurt Leeds, who are going to push players forward, I imagine.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they'll be wanting to keep that, crest of a wave kind of thing going with Portsmouth,
exactly,
don't they? Because of how wonderful a season it was last season. And, if they score early on, there'll certainly be a few nerves around Ellen Road, as we've become a bit used to over the past few months. So they'll think this is, as you say, the pressure's off for them, isn't they? Because no one's expecting them to get anything from this. And that's why they think that they'll probably be thinking we could take a big scalp early on here. I mean, let's be honest, with how brutal Portsmouth's opening 7 games are, they'll take anything early on, won't they? Leeds, Luton, Middlesbrough, Sunderland, West Brom, Burnley, Sheffield United. Oh. I mean, they're playing 5 of the teams there. We had to finish. We had predicted to finish in the top 6, so that's frightening, isn't it? But Leeds is probably as hard as it gets at this very early stage. So I think, at the very least, they'll be happy to just get this one out of the way, I suppose. Justin, it's now time for our second tier bet builder. Right now, our friends at SBK are offering a 25% winnings boost on the outright winner of the Championship. That ends today, Friday at 5 p.m. So you better be quick. And then on Saturday, to celebrate the return of the Championship, SBK are also offering a £2 free bet builder on any game that day. So those offers, combined with SBK's industry-leading odds, make it the best place to bet on the EFL this season. And if you don't believe us, sign up today. You will find out. So this Friday and every Friday, we're making our own bet builder with 4 selections, all relating to our game of the week. So that's 2 for Justin and 2 for me. Justin, kick things off. What is your first selection for our bet builder in Leeds v Portsmouth?
I've gone with Portsmouth to score into 0.5 goals. Now, I think coming up against a strong side with the attacking quality Leeds have, there's going to be a heavy possession swing in Leeds' favour, starving Pompey of the ball. That in itself will reduce chances for the away side to maybe just scraps and therefore reduce the potential for goals. Simple as that. At Ellen Road as well, Leeds will look to dominate early. And I know it's last season, but Leeds only conceded 16 goals at home last season. Now, we've said time and time again over the past couple of days, Leeds had the best defence in the league player-wise, and that's going to play a huge part. Missing Colby Bishop as well, that's a big thing. He was the first player for Portsmouth to score 20-plus goals since Brett Pittman, and only the second person to do it since Svetislav Todorov in the 2003 First Division League win. Had to drop him in.
You're making me feel warm inside.
Had to drop him in. Yeah, of course, when you're missing a goal scorer like that, your ability to score does diminish, sadly.
Wow. I didn't expect Todorov to get a mention in this episode today, but I'm all here for it. That is a great thing to hear in today's episode. But yeah, I agree with you. The fact that Leeds have got such a strong defence makes it look increasingly difficult to break down, particularly for a newly promoted side. No disrespect to Portsmouth. I have gone for my first selection to be under 3.5 cards. So I think in his first game of the season, don't tend to associate the first game of the season with a lot of cards. We've also got Ollie Langford as the referee in this one. He was one of the least card-happy referees in the Championship last season. And we've also got Leeds, who are no longer dirty Leeds under Daniel Farker. They are squeaky clean Leeds. Don't get many cards at all. So I think that's a safe pick there, PG.
He loves a card pick, doesn't he? He
Absolutely.
loves it. He loves a card pick and a ref stat. I will add that Portsmouth had the fourth worst disciplinary record in League One last season: 110 yellow cards and 4 reds. First game of the season. A lot of tired legs, a lot of professional fouls. That playing your part. Got to play a part.
I'm not sure. I think first game of the season, referees will want to just make sure everyone stays
just
on the
ease
pitch,
in,
has a nice time.
Yeah.
Just what's your next selection?
I've gone with Matteo Joseph to score any time. Joseph has got so much, almost unfairly, maybe some high expectations surrounding him now, because not only have I bought into the fanfare around his quality and ability and his potential to score goals, but so too have Leeds fans, bookies, pundits, everybody. Not only that, but also Joseph scored 4 times in pre-season, and as I mentioned, everyone's behind him. Everyone's behind the 20-year-old leading the line for Leeds this season. So him to score any time is my pick. I'm a Matteo Joseph fan until he goes 6 games without a goal. Then I'll move on to the next youngster, so to speak.
Yeah, there's a lot of hype around Matteo Joseph this season, isn't there? A lot of hype, particularly surprising considering he only got 1 goal last season, I think. But there's a lot of expectation with him this season to be playing a key part for Leeds. I don't know if he's going to start, but the fact that we've got him any time would give credence to the idea that he's going to come off the bench at the very least and have an impact of some sort. So yeah, certainly want to keep an eye out for this season. And then my final selection is over 1.5 goals for Leeds United. We've expressed our concerns about how this Leeds team will look if Nonta and Ruta leave, but for now they're still there and are 2 players who are simply too good for this level. So I fully expect Leeds to do the business on Saturday and score at least a couple of goals in the process. Hence why we've gone for over 1.5 goals for Leeds in this game. Justin, quickly, you happy with that?
Yeah, absolutely. I expect Leeds to at least get a couple. Whether or not Portsmouth have a response is another thing, but Leeds to score at Ellen Road first game of the season with the quality they have, yeah, let's get behind that.
So the first second-tier bet builder of the season is Portsmouth to score under 0.5 goals, under 3.5 cards in the match. Matteo Joseph to score any time for Leeds and over 1.5 goals for Leeds United. And your free £2 bet with SBK on that bet builder will return £18. Not a bad day's work for a Saturday, is it? That offer goes live on a Saturday 8 a.m. But remember, if you don't fancy our bet builder with SBK, you can create your own bet builder from a range of markets. Max stake £10. T's and C's apply, over 18s only. And please do gamble responsibly. Justin, let's take a quick break. After that, we'll make our banker and outsider picks for the weekend. Welcome back to the Second Tier podcast. This is, of course, the preview show brought to you by SBK, and it's now time for us to have a look ahead to the weekend. And each preview show of the Second Tier this season, Justin and I will each be picking a banker, a team we think is guaranteed to win this coming weekend, as well as an outsider. So someone we think is going to win, but is bigger odds with our friends at SBK than their opponent. This season, we're once again doing a forfeit after Justin was humiliated last season. Was meant to go on a coach journey from Sunderland to Plymouth and back, which you still haven't done yet, by the way, Justin. Have you at least got your tickets booked?
I've not got my tickets booked yet. Some people have full-time jobs outside of recording this lovely podcast.
What's your excuse?
I've been a busy man. I've been a busy man covering the Euros and the Olympics. I've not been on holidays yet either. So give me a break, and I'll get it booked in at some point when the time is convenient for me. I mean, everybody hopefully forgets about it.
When are Sunderland and Plymouth playing each other this season? Should probably figure that out, shouldn't we? I don't think it's. I think we looked at this before, and it wasn't too far away. I haven't got it up in front of me, but maybe that's one we'll have to get you sorted.
One to look out for.
Yeah. Maybe go down with the Sunderland fans on the coach journey. Get some tinnies out. Sounds all right.
I'd have nothing but respect for Sunderland fans, but I can't imagine that being a relaxing trip at 5 a.m.
It's not
start.
meant to be.
No, it's like a 3 a.m. start, isn't it? As well, it's not. It's earlier than 5 a.m. Oh goodness!
It's the fun of it, mate. It's the joy of an away trip, isn't it?
Yeah, but I don't drink, so I imagine a 3 o'clock start, and then yeah, a long trip like that just on coffee and sweets isn't a relaxing trip.
14th of September is when Sunderland are away at Plymouth.
I think I'm on holiday.
Oh, really? Coincidence.
Yeah.
Of course, we haven't sorted out forfeits for this season yet either, Justin. We will. I think we'll put it to the listener and then have some nailed down forfeits by next week. It's something I haven't given any thought to at all. Have you got any ideas of what we could do for forfeits this year?
I saw someone suggest on YouTube maybe a week or so ago to shave your beard entirely, because like underneath that beard is a strange.
I've got so many secrets under this beard. Whoever suggested that is a sick human being, by the way. Why on earth would you think that's a good idea? Awful people.
But it's not a severe forfeit, so we'll have a deeper think.
Yeah, well, we'll come up with something. We'll put some options out to the listener in the coming weeks and see what we can have on the line for this season for when Justin loses once again. Justin, let's see if you can get off to a good start, shall we? What is your banker for the Championship this coming weekend?
My first banker of the season is Middlesbrough to win at home to Swansea on Saturday lunchtime. Look, it's a really tough call predicting these, or not predicting these, trying to predict these first game of the season. It's a finger in the air job, but I think with Middlesbrough, they're probably, the reason why I'm picking Middlesbrough is they're probably better set to hit the ground running than Swansea are with this season. Not only have they not had a sort of a high turnover of players, but the squad had a really good end to last season, and Michael Carrick's going to want to continue that. He's not going to change too much, I imagine, either. And they've had sprinklings of quality put in, like Aidan Morris. Finners has had 6 months of good form to bed into things at the Riverside. Latte last form towards the end of last season as well was great. It's just all geared up to get going. Swansea for me are still bedding in new signings like Jan Potnik. Some uncertainty over the goalkeeper situation as well, with Lawrence Figueroa touted to start as number one. That may play a hand when you have the potential for wave after wave of Borough attacks.
Yeah, it's. I think you are right. Swansea have signed quite a few players this summer who are expected to play big roles, but how much will they be able to hit the ground running? We don't know. Whereas Middlesbrough pretty much got the squad already in hand, haven't they? Aidan Morris is someone who I expect to play a big part, but he's the only one really, I suppose. Whereas others will probably grow into the season as opposed to starting straight away. Would you say that's fair, Justin?
Yeah. I think that's what I was saying. Like the likes of, there are other teams like Middlesbrough who sit in a very favourable position where they don't have to make too many changes. They can just get going, which I know is a very difficult thing. I don't want to name those teams and give too many things away for you. But the likes of Luton have come down. Sheffield United have recruited extensively, so there's a comparison there that they're going to have to bed new signings in. So I think having a similar squad to last season, just a little dibble dab there, I think does really help. Whereas Swansea probably in a similar position but lack the same depth that Borough do. That's going to play a role, especially first game of the season where players are going to get tired quickly. Borough have got the quality to come off the bench if it's a tight one as well. Swansea don't.
Yeah, whereas Swansea definitely don't. That's a massive issue for Swansea, isn't it? They desperately need to get more bodies in to add a bit more squad depth in there. So, yeah, you are right. Going to be fascinating to see how this one plays out. I'm particularly fascinated to see how Middlesbrough shape up for this one, considering we've both got high hopes for them this coming season. My first banker of the season is Sheffield Wednesday to win at home to Plymouth on Sunday afternoon. This time last year, these were two teams we had very different optimism levels for, weren't they? Oh, how the turntables. Sheffield Wednesday fans must be absolutely loving things right now. Because, look, when was the last time they headed into a championship season with any form of ambition? We're talking a long time ago, aren't we? Must be like
Carvalhal years.
Yeah, it must be 7-8 years ago.
Yeah.
God. Long time, Justin. Long old time. A revitalised squad is what they have got now. 9 new signings through the door. And it's going to be fascinating to see how many of those players do feature in Sheffield Wednesday's starting 11, how they set up as well. Because they've got a good mix of players who did really well from last season, but also this army of new lads who have come through the door, and how they're all going to fit into the big swing of things is going to be really fascinating to see. But of course, we have got Danny Rawle in charge. It's the start, Justin, of the Rohlvelution. It starts here. The Rohlvelution
That's
is
how it
getting
works.
underway this weekend. And with no disrespect intended to Plymouth, it's as kind of start to the Rohlvelution as it's going to get, really, isn't it? Because Plymouth, we don't have high hopes for. The team, we had bottom of the league in our league table predictions this week. Wayne Rooney really needs his Plymouth reign to get off to a flying start, because fans are obviously supportive of Rooney right now, but I imagine a lot of them are also concerned about how his Birmingham spell went. And I don't think it will be a case of the old head loss for Plymouth if they don't get something from this game, but they'll at least want to see a good showing, won't they? We didn't see many of them when Rooney was in charge of Birmingham, let alone results. So a good fight will go down very well. I'm intrigued to see how Morgan Whittaker fits into things, and there'll be a lot of hope that he has a good start, because it will certainly help calm a lot of nerves at Plymouth. If they do stay up, he'll undoubtedly play a big part in that. But as far as my pre-season expectations go, there's a big gap between these two, and that's why I'm backing a Wednesday win on Sunday, Justin.
I think something you failed to mention, actually, a very important factor is not only is Plymouth's away form in the Championship pretty hopeless, but Wayne Rooney's away form as a manager in the Championship is dreadful. It is truly, truly dreadful. His away form at Derby was awful, and ultimately that's the reason why they went down in the season. They were deducted 21 points, not because they were deducted 21 points, although obviously that played a factor. Their home form was largely very, very good. Their away form took them down. And then you skip on ahead to Birmingham, where he pretty much lost every game, so it's very hard to judge that. And then his
home and away form was crap.
yeah, form was crap. And then obviously with Plymouth and their poor away form, it's not a particularly great match. That being said, Wayne Rooney in previous years has done very well against adversity. There's a lot of adversity here against Plymouth because of the expectations. now, because everyone's tipping them to go down, barring one or two. Therefore, that might give Wayne Rooney the siege mentality he needs. This is a fixture I probably would have stayed away from, but I do agree it's very hard to not get excited by Danny Rord and Sheffield Wednesday this season, and coming up against a team like Plymouth who have got a long way to travel. Their away form's poor. Wayne Rooney's away form's poor, amongst not a lot of quality coming in over the summer so far. Yeah, you'd be back in Wednesday here.
Yeah, I didn't pay too much attention to away form, considering we've not had any games yet this season. But I do get what you're saying, that
It's historical.
Historically, their away form has not been great for manager and team. But as I say, when you're looking at this from a Wednesday perspective, if you could handpick which team you want or what fixture you would want to kick the season off, you're probably going to be picking someone like Plymouth at home, aren't you? Particularly when you want to get the Rohlvelution onto a good start. And I imagine Hillsborough might be bouncing for a change, because as we say, they're heading into the season with ambition for a change. So yeah, a packed Hillsborough hopefully, and a good atmosphere could very well get Wednesday over the line in a big first 3 points of the season. So there are mine, Justin's two bankers for the weekend. Every week we combine these two selections with a bet on the full-time results of our game of the weekend to create our very own second tier featured multiple with SBK. So this week we're going for Leeds, Middlesbrough and Sheffield Wednesday, all to win, and a £10 bet on that returns 48 big ones with SBK, and you can create your own ACCA with 3 or more bets on the full-time result of any game from across the Championship. T's and C's apply, over 18s only, and please do gamble responsibly. That again, Leeds, Middlesbrough, Sheffield Wednesday, all to win. £10 bet on that returns £48 with SBK. Justin, let's go over to our outsiders. Who have you got for your first one of the season, big boy?
I've gone with Bristol City to win away at Hull. Difficult to pick outsiders, and I was surprised to see the odds against Bristol City here, considering Hull are in a position that they're in, having lost the amount of quality that they've lost and the lack of squad depth or lack of squad they currently have. It's a real shock. But then again, is that going to play into people's thinkings? Probably not. Bristol City are in a much better position. They are much better organised on and off the pitch. Their recruitment has been good over the summer, much like I was talking about Sheffield Wednesday and Middlesbrough. They're going into this season having not needed to transition or turn over too much, and that's down to years of progression on and off the pitch in terms of developing players and the squad. That will probably serve them a lot better than some teams going into their first game of the season, and this is what I envisage here. In addition to that, there's a lot of energy in that Bristol City side. So much energy. Jason Knight, Max Bird, Joe Williams, Ross McCrory. It's a workhorse team with quality, with technical quality in there as well. Coming up against a Hull side who lost the players that make a difference. And that's what's going to, that's going to be, it's probably going to be a slog of a game. I fully expect that, but I think with Bristol City having the quality they do, hanging over from them from last season and going into the season in a good position, that for me is where the momentum will start.
Yeah, we've spoken a lot, haven't we, about how Hull are looking very short in terms of bodies, and it's got to be said, if you want a time to play Hull, it's now, isn't it? You want to be playing them right now, where they've had so much talent go out the door and they haven't had a full transfer window yet to kind of remedy and bring players in. I think Hull, before the window closes, will have signed quite a few players. But right now, at the time of recording, the squad is looking very threadbare. So Bristol City will 100% be hoping to make the most of that. I mean, I'm just looking at what Rob Dickie has been saying. He's fully anticipating a good season ahead. He's been saying they're ready for a push for the playoffs, and he's adamant, Justin, that this could be a special season in Bristol for the Robins, and we're back in that, aren't we? Particularly with players like him who will just be so pivotal to what Liam Manning's trying to do this season.
Well, given Bristol City's poor finishes over the past few years in the Championship, a top 10 finish I think would be a special season for the club. It's obviously being a little bit facetious, but he's right. The club have been built to go in this direction. They just need to develop a consistency at key points in the season, which is where they've really failed. And if Rob Dickie's up for it, I'm up for it, because that man knows how to score a goal. He knows how to defend. He knows how to play from the back, and he's an assistant that's going to, apart from scoring goals as a centre half, he's an assistant that's going to play to all of those strengths.
I'm particularly excited to see how Fally Mayulu gets on in this one. I'm going to be keeping a close eye on this one, because he's someone I'm also very intrigued about this season. Bristol City has spent a fair bit of money on him, and his goals could be a big difference maker for them this season. My outsider for this weekend is Coventry City to win away at Stoke City on Saturday lunchtime. It's the Ryan and Justin derby. Are Stoke City a dark horse, or are they just a donkey in disguise? Look, I've made my feelings known about Stoke loads over the past week and a bit. Justin thinks they could do quite well this season. I think it's going to be another classic season of Stokiness. But I was pretty stunned to see Coventry as such big outsiders for this game. 2-1 they are with SBK. I spent a good 5 minutes picking my jaw up off the floor while talking about how much I love this Coventry team on Wednesday when we were doing the odd predictions, but it's just looking so strong. The wonderful thing about the start of the season is most teams tend to have a fully fit squad to choose from, and that's nearly the case with Coventry. The big doubt is Ben Sheaf in midfield, which is a blow, but it could mean we see Victor Torb, who I'm really excited to see more of this season. Another doubt is Haji Wright. He did play in Coventry's last friendly, but it probably means Epsom Mason-Clark is expected to start in his place, and he was exceptional for Peterborough in attack last season. There's just so many beautiful components about this Coventry team. It's a pretty good example, actually, of how much they've got in their armoury. Yeah. And to put it completely simply, I think Coventry are absolutely miles ahead of Stoke, hence why I have picked them to win this weekend as my outsider, Justin.
Jumping on that Robins rocket, aren't you? That's what it is.
Absolutely. I am all aboard the Robins rocket. I'm like, what's that film from like the 50s where the bloke's sat on the nuclear bomb and he's swinging the cowboy hat around?
It's going to be on the tip of my tongue. That's
Dr.
Strangelove. Yeah.
That's the one.
Yeah,
yes. I'm like that with the Robins rocket.
Yeah. No.
Don't know why. Hang on, that means the Robins rocket is going down. It's going up.
Ooh. Yeah.
It's like Armageddon.
It's. I was going to try and pick apart you going for Coventry to win away, but actually you just scaling off the strength and depth that they have here. actually is quite frightening, isn't it? Because Ben Sheaf,
gentlemen, the man who has been, blowing Stoke's horn so much over the past week and a half, even he admits that Coventry are just too strong for Stoke. That's it. We may as well move on now.
Yeah, Coventry are too strong for Stoke in this game. It's not, the reverse fixtures at some point in the season that might change. But actually, you just there reeling off the strength and depth that Coventry have. Actually, is a reminder that they can go on to win promotion. They can. Ben Sheaf is a big blow, but Victor Torp steps in. There's a lot of excitement around Victor Torp. Haji Wright, who is I wouldn't say an X Factor type player, but he really does bring quality in unpredictability and goal scoring prowess. Him missing means that Mason Clark comes in, who has the potential to really, really step up. And as you say, with quality, Peterborough, it's just quite scary. And as I say, you're going into the first game of the season, and that's what I was alluding to with other teams, Bristol City, Middlesbrough, etc. These are teams that don't need a lot changing. They can just crack on with the same system, same personnel, and get going. Whereas Stoke similarly are in that position, but they're still short of one or two players, which probably might mean a bit of a slower start to the season.
They've had very slow starts to the last two seasons. It's got to be said, and it'd be a very Stoke start to the season for them to get battered at home, wouldn't it? And we suddenly think, oh God, here we go again with Stoke City. But yeah, Coventry are just looking so good that I fully expect them to do the business away at Stoke on Saturday lunchtime. Hence why I was just so surprised that they're such big outsiders for this game. Right, there are predictions for the weekend in the Championship. Now, it's time for this.
All right. Settle down, you lot. It's time for the Craig Bryson pub quiz.
Yes, it's the return of an old favourite. This is actually quite a throwback, isn't it, really, Justin? It's the Craig Bryson pub quiz. After Scott High and Ryan Lowe served us so well last season, and we finally got Simon Grayson to do Simon Grayson's Hateful Eight, we're doing just the one game this season, and it's the Craig Bryson pub quiz. When did we last do this? Must be 3 seasons ago.
Yeah, a couple of seasons ago. I will add, are we going to retire games when we get the individual to come on and do them?
So you're saying we need to get Craig Bryson on to do this?
Craig Bryson, we need to hunt down Scott High and also get Ryan Lowe on the show as well.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Ryan Lowe would take part in it.
That would be fun. But yes, get Craig Bryson on.
Yeah, I'm sure we could possibly make that happen. But yeah, this is the game that we did when we first started out, wasn't it? Now it's got a triumphant return. Now we're at our peak, Justin. It's back in the fold. So anyone who doesn't know what this game is, it's us where we're trying to guess a mystery championship legend, past or present. I'm going to give Justin 6 clues on that player, and he's just got to tell me who it is. They need to have made at least 200 championship appearances. Emphasis on championship, not first division. So from 2004 onwards, 200 appearances in the championship from then. And then they've got to be well known as well. When we say legend, we don't really mean legend. We just mean someone who's played in the championship, but they have got to be well known, haven't they, Justin? We can't just be picking players who no one remembers who somehow made over 200 games in the championship. Do you see what I mean?
I know you're throwing that in there because they're going to be players that you don't know, and I refute that, and I will ignore that when I come across a player that I think is a great shout.
No, we need a bit of common sense here now. Come on, we need like a barometer. We need like I'd say they have to be more famous than Dexter Blackstock. I don't know why it was the first player who came to my mind, but I just think it's the perfect barometer. Whoever we pick this season when we do this, because it's going to be me and Justin, doing it back and forth to each other, so it's me to Justin this week. Whoever we pick for the player who the other person's got to guess, they've got to be more famous than Dexter Blackstock. Is that okay? Can we shake hands on that?
Well, yeah, we can shake hands, but again, it's all subjective, so there we go.
It is subjective, but I think the Dexter Blackstock barometer has been set for the season. And if you go below it, there's going to be hell to pay. Right, so 6 clues, Justin. Do you want your first clue?
I do. Lay it on me.
Cool. First clue is this. I have 260 championship appearances to my name. That's all you get.
There's no goals or assists.
Well, I'm not saying anything.
260 championship appearances. We'll add that we usually guess a player straight away, don't we? Or we just move on to the next clue. That's how we used to play it.
So it's one guess per clue.
Yeah. 260 championship appearances. If you've not mentioned any goals or assists, I'm just going to go over goalkeeper. So why not throw out Stephen Bywater?
It's not Stephen Bywater, but it's great to hear him mentioned. I made my Football League debut in 2011 for Southend.
2011 for Southend. That's a tricky one. Now, this barometer of Dexter Blackstock means the obscure ones that come to my head disrupt things a little bit. 260 appearances as well. Southend starts at Southend. I'm going to go with... I'm lost
Feel
here.
free to pass, mate.
Yeah, we'll pass.
It's
we'll
fine.
Pass.
It's
we'll
fine.
pass.
You've got 4 more guesses. You've got 4 more clues, mate. Don't worry. They usually get easier as well, don't they? So you've got to keep that in mind, mate. Let's move on. I currently play in the Premier League.
Oh, shit. And they started 13 years ago. That you would expect them to be about 31, 32 now, and they're playing in the Premier League. Started at Southend.
Yeah.
Oof. They're playing in the Premier League.
Tell me through your thinking. What are you thinking?
All I'm thinking is I've got a player. I've got an outline of a player, a bit like a watchdog, image in my head of a player. When they don't show their faces. And that's all I can see right now, which isn't helpful for anyone. I can just see the outline of their head. And unfortunately, a lot of heads look quite similar when you don't know who you're talking about.
That's fine. You willing to move on? Pass?
I'll move on. I'll have one more clue, and I think I might get this one.
Got to throw some out there. That's fine. 4th clue, Justin.
Yeah.
I played my first game in the Championship in 2016 for Brentford.
Played for Brentford. Might still be at Brentford. Started at Southend. Rico Henry started at Walsall. Ivan Toney. It's Ivan Toney. No, it's not.
It's not Ivan Toney. It's not Ivan Toney at all. Oh, he's so confident, ladies and gentlemen. Did you hear that? Did you hear the confidence in his voice?
He had a loan spell at Southend.
So
he's in his 30s. He's in his 30s, and he's playing fucking Brentford.
Is Ivan Toney in his 30s? I don't think he's in his 30s.
I think he's 30.
He must be late 20s, but I don't think he's in his 30s. Your second last clue, Justin.
Mm-hmm.
In 2019, I moved for £2 million to the club I've played the most games for in the Championship, and that club is Bristol City.
Got it.
Go on.
It is a goalkeeper. It's Daniel Bentley.
It is. Well done, Justin. I was a bit worried for you there. You looked like you were getting very stressed, but you got there in the end. Daniel Bentley is correct. The final clue was going to be I only played 5 games in the Premier League last season because I spent most of it being the second choice goalkeeper. Mm-hmm. Didn't say he's now playing for Wolves, but yes, you are correct. Well done, Justin. How do you feel?
I feel good. I nearly said, this player's going to play for Wolves or something. About 2-3 clues ago. That's a good one. That's a great start because goalkeepers are hard to get because they don't score goals. They don't assist very often either.
They are. We tended to, when we did this before, say I have 260 Championship appearances to my name and I've scored like 10 goals. It kind of gives it away if you say I haven't scored any goals because it's either a defender who is just very unfortunate in front of goal or is a goalkeeper. So I'm glad we got there in the end. A good start to Craig Bryson Pub Quiz for the season. I think as time goes on, we're going to open it up more to the listener. Send in their suggestions. So if you have got any suggestions for the Craig Bryson Pub Quiz, send them in to secondtierpod@gmail.com. And I'm sure at some point this season we will give some runouts of listener-suggested clues. How does that sound, Justin?
Oh, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. Just make sure your barometer is set, though. Dexter Blackstock. Nothing below Dexter Blackstock.
Yes. We've set the barometer now, people. We're not moving it. The Dexter Blackstock barometer is in place for the season. Make sure you abide by it. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. That's been the Craig Bryson Pub Quiz. And this has been the Second Tier Preview Show brought to you by SBK. We've made our predictions for the opening weekend of the Championship season. That means we have our first weekend review coming up on Sunday. It's going to be a bit of a late one because I believe the Sheffield Wednesday game is at 4 o'clock, which is not ideal, but that's how it is. So we'll be back again on Sunday for our first review show of the season. We bloody look forward to seeing you then for that, where we're going to be talking all things about the Championship from this coming weekend. Look forward to seeing you then. This has been the Second Tier Podcast. I've been Ryan Dilks.
I've been Justin Peach.
And a big thank you for listening.